Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 44 of the Brighter Horizons podcast. Today we're going to be talking about the importance of mentors, why you should find one for yourself, how they can help you, and why eventually you should be a mentor to others. So by the end of this episode, we hope you understand everything about that. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. What are your opening thoughts, sir?
Oh my God. I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of excited for this episode because I think that in a way, what we're doing on this podcast is trying to help mentor other people. And doing that kind of brought about a bit of a revelation for me, right? If you walk a path with your friend, you guys kind of mentor each other, right? Like, I always thought about it as always just take advice from people that are there already. But sometimes taking advice from people that are on the way with you is more effective.
You know what's crazy?
Yeah?
I was looking at some videos before starting this episode, and one that I saw was by Simon Sinek, and he said that the relationship between a mentor and a mentee is surprisingly reciprocal, because one time when he became friends with someone and that guy mentored him a lot, and one day when Simon was leaving his house, he said, "I'm really grateful that you are my mentor." And then he said to Simon, "Yeah, and I'm very happy that you are mine." So in a way, you learn things from each other, and that's kind of a beautiful thing at the end of the day when you get to help somebody else and they help you.
Exactly. I think mentoring is a two-way street, right? And I mean, all relationships should be two-way streets. I think that when they go wrong is when people view them as one-way streets.
Yeah.
Right? When you say, how much can I get from this person? That's when things start to fall apart. But when you start to think, how much can I give? That's when I think things start to fall into place.
Yeah.
Right? It's always important to look out for yourself and your best interest, but sometimes just caring about other people and trying to give more back can turn out really good for you. And number one example I'd say is the book The Go-Giver. I suggest you guys read it.
Damn, I was going to bring that up too. That's
really
crazy.
Oh wow,
that's insane.
Because it was a good book, and although I think it's a little bit fictional and fantasy like, I don't think that if you give for the rest of your life, everything's gonna fall in order. Obviously, you need to go out there and chase things for yourself as well. But the principle is very simple: what you put out will come back, right? Karma, in a way. So being a good person, I think, comes around to help you. But connecting it back, the main important fact is that you are not only a mentee or only a mentor, right? Because first off, being a mentee who thinks he knows
Nothing.
you should... Okay, wait, I'm trying to think of a way to phrase this, because, a bad mentor and mentee, in both cases, is someone who thinks they knows everything. Right? If as a mentee you aren't open to learning, you're going to fall short. You're going to fail and you're not going to do well because you're refusing to get better. And a mentor who believes they know everything will fall into the same trap, right? I think that the idea is that nobody's really farther along than others.
Yeah, for sure.
Nobody is there. Nobody is ever there. Right? I think that life is going to be a constant game of going. And the idea of I think the point of there, right, where you've achieved is when you're happy with the dissatisfaction of not being there, right, of not being perfect. When you're okay with that, I think that that's when life really takes off.
Okay, I don't think that it's about the being okay with dissatisfaction. I think it's just
perfection. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
because,
but you shouldn't be dissatisfied that you're not perfect. You should just accept that you're
okay,
not
yeah. I mean, I think that was my point. It's because once you're happy, dissatisfaction cancels out to acceptance.
But that's kind of the beautiful thing about life is most people that play this game, go out there, become this, superstar entrepreneur. Most of them don't stop playing because they don't play the game for the purpose of reaching a certain goal. They play the game because they love the game.
Exactly, absolutely.
That I think that should be your main motivator in a lot of this. And that's why if you're doing something and you're only doing it for the money or you're only doing it for a superficial reason, I don't see you being in the game much longer.
Exactly. And there's two streets to that. One is you're not going to be the most successful in your game, right? And then secondly is you're going to waste a large portion of your life, right? What's the point in having $1 million if it doesn't make you smile?
Yeah.
Right? If you don't value that, then why would you go out there and chase it? Which kind of leads us to the idea of mentorship and finding a mentor or a teacher. Because the importance is the fact that a lot of these people have lived a longer life. They have the experiences and they can help guide you. And they can especially help you figure out what you want. That's why I think it's so important to have somebody to look up to when you're young, because those people allow you to understand what you truly value. Right? The people that go down the worst paths are those that don't get to see any of the paths.
Yeah, and in my opinion, what a mentor does is he or she gives you guidance on avoiding pitfalls that could possibly be fatal to your career. They help you grow and become better, right? They fast track your career in a way. So the best example I have for that is Eric. When I first started going to the gym, right? I had never gone to the gym before this. I was always a, at home kind of guy. I did push-ups, I did sit-ups. That was pretty much all I did. I just did my own, calisthenic stuff at home. And then one day Eric was like, yo, you should come to the gym with me. And I was like, okay, sure. Like maybe I'll consider it. A week later, I hurt my ankle pretty bad and I was in this weird brace. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go try it out. So I went to the gym with him and I actually still have a picture of the two of us standing there and I'm taking the picture and Eric has his arm out like this. And we're so tiny, man. We're so skinny in this picture. And every time I look back on it, I'm reminded of how he brought me to where I am today and how he helped me find my roots in the gym. But one thing he did was obviously he corrected my form. And he showed me how to lift the weight without breaking your knees, how to lift the weight without breaking your arms or your back. What he didn't do is tell me not to attempt new things or tell me how not to fail. He didn't tell me, oh, if you're going to squat, don't squat, PRs. Just keep doing rep work. No, because he knew that through failure, I learn. And that's exactly the same thing in any other field of life. A mentor should help you avoid dangerous facts, but still allow you to fail and get better. And that's what we talked about last week's episode, where we said that failure and mistakes are important, right? So without those, you would be doing a disservice to your mentee if you didn't allow them to fail. And actually, who was it who said it? Raymond Holt said it to Jake Peralta. He said, what kind of dad allows his kid to run around with no consequences and bail him out of everything? Because he needs to learn how to live life.
Yeah.
So in finding mentorship and being a mentee, number one, you need to be able to make mistakes. But if you ever become a mentor, which I hope you do one day, you need to allow your mentee to make mistakes too.
Absolutely. I would say help them become comfortable with failure, which is something that you and Eric actually did. One of the first days that I was in the gym, pretty early actually.
Yeah, very early.
We were doing squatting and these guys were teaching me how to bail on a squat machine. Now, I think first off, I was absolutely terrified of doing this because at the rec, if you drop the weight, people get mad at you. Everybody looks at you. They get angry. So I was like, man, I don't want to, slip this and drop all the weight, right? And then one of the things is Eric was like, okay, I'll stand behind you. You go down to squat, throw the weight off, and I'll catch it so it won't make a noise. And I was like, okay. Obviously, I fell for the bait, realizing that obviously he wasn't going to catch it. So I went down, bailed. He didn't catch it. It made a bang. I looked around. Not a single person was looking at me. Nobody cared at all. It was not even remotely interesting to anybody. Nobody looked over. But the main premise of the story is that they taught me how to fail. And they taught me how to become comfortable with it. Because the truth of the world is you're going to fail. If you never experience it, then you're never going to get comfortable with it. And if you never get comfortable with it, every time it happens, it's going to be so much more painful, right? So the idea is not to shelter. I feel like it's interesting because in doing what people believe to be right, they can ruin a mentee's life, right? By sheltering them, you think you're protecting them, but by not showing them the world, you don't give them the opportunity to become great. Case in point, the Buddha. Right? If you take his story, Prince Siddhartha, right? He started in this palace and he was completely guarded. His dad didn't want him to see any of the outside world because he was scared it would affect his opinions or anything. He wanted him to live in this perfect world. But what happened? Once his mind was allowed to venture out there and see the real world, what happened? He became enlightened, right? He chose to make effective change because he could experience the world. Now, I'm not saying you're going to become enlightened just because you failed a couple times, right? But I think that you can become great if you do. You can become who you're meant to be. Because the idea is, if you never get to see a single path, you can't see any options out there, how can you expect yourself to become great? It doesn't make sense. It's not possible.
Yeah, and the other thing is, while it's important to go out there and explore the paths, it's much more fun to walk them with somebody else. Prime example is this podcast. I could totally have started my own podcast and be like, "What's up, guys? It's just me." But that's so much more boring. Like, I'd rather sit here, have a conversation with my best friend every single day and just have fun with it. Why sit here and go through life alone? And that's the thing. I find it so funny that so many people glorify being dark and mysterious and upset about everything. Man, just smile. Be happy. We're all alive. We get to go out there, experience sunshine. Yeah, bad things are going to happen. We're going to fall. But at the end of the day, you're alive, man. That's more than enough to be grateful for.
That's what I always wondered. Is like, especially with people in the gym, like a lot of these guys, and I'm not, again, if I describe you right here, I'm not slandering you at all. But I'd say en masse, a lot of the people that go into the gym with like this super dark mindset of like something bad happens and then like, all right, I'm by myself, I'm locked in, I'm gonna, go to the gym every single day, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that because I'm gonna become better. They fall very quickly. They may, start out really great doing all these great things, but even from personal experiences, when I was in that kind of a mood and I was like in that dark idea of I want to get better, it worked for a bit, but then it really fell off because eventually you run out of steam. You run out of motivation.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Negative motivation will always last shorter than positive motivation.
Bro, that's insane. I was literally just about to say that even me, I've been lifting for a while. When I first started, there were like moments where I started lifting out of anger. Like, I wouldn't say that my main motivation going to the gym was anger, but there are days where, you go there to blow off steam. Yeah, those are good workouts, but only if it happens every once in a while, not if it's every day. And you said it perfectly, because to me, anger is a fuel that burns hot but burns quick.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's the best way I can describe it.
That's brilliant.
You shouldn't live your life off of anger, right? Happiness, joy, and consistently looking for the positive, that might not burn as strong as anger, right? But it certainly burns in a much nicer hue, and it lasts a lot longer.
And it's interesting because if I'm being honest, like I love, for example, the biggest question a lot of people ask me when I tell them, like, I go to Platinum Athletic Club. Why don't you just go to the rec center? They got the weights, right? Yeah, you don't have to wait as long, but the price is, much cheaper. Why don't you just work out at the rec instead of Platinum? And I'd say it's not about the machines. It's not about the cool fancy weights they have, not the hundreds of billions of machines that they have, not the wait times. It's the people. It's the company. And I'm going to get to why I said company in a minute, but the idea behind that makes Platinum so great, especially in my personal experience, is the environment. And it's not about me. That's what my gym experience doesn't get better or worse based on me. I mean, I let it only get better by paying attention to the people around me, right? When I go to the gym with you and Eric, I smile every single time. Like, I look for, like, right now we're on a deload, we're on a break. I feel bad every day because I want to go back to the gym. Like, I love it there now. And now I used to work out by myself. I had a time where I went through this emotional crisis and I was getting up at 5 a.m., biking to the gym every day. And it was good. Like, I could say that to myself. I was happy. But that burnt out so quick because it was just out of anger. It was just out of sadness. But now I'm itching to go to the gym every single day.
And you're happy.
Exactly. Because I smile every time I go. The point is that if you can bring people with you, your goals become a lot less frightening. And also the path just becomes happier. It's like if you're walking through a dark, actually, we're going to go on a bit of a story here. I'm going to tell a bit of a story.
Fire away, boss.
About the 3 a.m. Tyne Head experience.
Yo.
Now, I don't even know, I'm not going to say any names in this story, but it was interesting to say the least. So, a couple of, me and my friends, about, I think 4 or 5 of us, went to play basketball at about, I think it was about 10 o'clock. Or actually, okay. Our initial plan was to go to Boston Pizza, but we were waiting for one of our friends to get off work. So we decided we're going to play basketball in the meantime. And this is at like about 10:30-ish, 11 o'clock. And then we decide to go to Boston Pizza because our friend's off work. We get there, doors are locked. We forgot that there was the last call, and the last call's already done. So we couldn't get into Boston Pizza because we thought it closes at 1, but they have last call, I think, at 11:30 or something like that. So we couldn't get into Boston Pizza. Our friend drove all the way, and then he's like, I hate you guys so much. So we decided to go to McDonald's. We went to McDonald's, and as we're pulling up to the McDonald's, they say that the indoor area is closed. So we're like, okay, whatever. We walk across the street, and we go and get some pizza. Okay, we pick up pizza. This is the worst pizza. I just want to put this out there. Worst pizza I ever had. I'm not going to name drop the place because I'm a kind civilian. but worst pizza I ever had. It was greasy. We hated it. I think somebody might have threw a slice on top of a gas station after it.
What?
Don't remember the whole story. But in any case, terrible, terrible pizza. Then we walk back across to the McDonald's because that's where we parked our cars. And then we see a bunch of our other friends from high school. And we're like, oh my God, like, what are you guys doing out? It's like about 2 a.m. at this point. So we go over there and we just start talking with them. And they're like, hey, man, let's go and play basketball. So we decide to go to a different place and play basketball until about 2:30 to 3 o'clock. And then we're like, we're going to go on a hike through the woods at 3 a.m. And we did it. About 5 of us went, I think. Yeah, 5 of us. 5 of us went on the hike through the woods at 3 a.m. Pitch black. We made a formation so that like everybody was looking in different ways to make sure that nothing was going to happen to us. And we walked through the woods at 3 a.m., did this whole hike. And the point, I know this is a crazy side tangent here, but the point being, I would have been terrified to walk through those woods alone, but walking through it with all those people made it super funny, right? So having people around you just makes experiences more interesting, right? Like if you were to recall on your best moments in life, I would say most of them come from other people being there. Like take, for example, our first win in Fortnite, or your first win in Fortnite, right? That story in our friend's basement, we loved that, but I'm willing to bet you had you been sitting alone at home on the monitor, it wouldn't have been as crazy.
Yeah, and I can say it's not as crazy because I've had a lot of wins on my own at home.
And it's not the same, right? Because there's nobody to just share that energy with.
Yeah, it's more fun. Like, you've seen clips of people at parties where, like, the whole gang is gathered around.
Yeah.
It's 1v1. Somehow he hits a crazy shot. Bang, victory royale. Everyone goes crazy. Oh, my God.
So the idea is to have people walking those paths with you.
Yeah.
And I think that those people can also be considered a form of teacher or mentor, right? When I falter and my friends pick me up, I consider them to help to kind of be a mentor. It's like the same premise. You don't have to be some old wise sage, with who's bald or has gray hair to be considered a mentor, right?
Yeah.
The idea is it's somebody who can give you wisdom. I think that's also an important aspect to understand is that the best mentor is the kind that gives wisdom, not knowledge. Because knowledge is important. Knowledge is absolutely important. But wisdom is the most important thing on the planet to me. You're smiling.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini. But you know what I like more than materialistic things? Knowledge. That's a throwback meme for all of you out there.
But
If you
he's
don't
wrong
get that,
because wisdom is even better.
yeah, whatever.
But
Just
yeah,
the second
yeah,
you
yeah.
said the word knowledge, it was like neuron activation in my brain,
yeah.
man. But you are totally right in saying that you don't have to be some old guy to give advice to someone. At the end of the day, I see you can have subtle mentorship interactions almost, like just advice. Somebody who gives good advice can be a good mentor. You know a crazy example of this? Kevin Hart and John Cena on Kai Cenat's podcast.
Oh, yeah.
They have had some crazy clips on there. Like, obviously, they sat there and goofed around for a bit, right? But one clip that sat really, really deep with me was when John Cena was talking. And he said, when I was put on this earth, at first I thought that I was put here to be a WWE wrestler. Then I tried acting, and I thought, okay, so I'm supposed to be a storyteller. But now I know that I was put on this earth to be a human being, that I'm insignificant, that I don't really matter, that I'm a grain of sand on this vast beach. But I'm going to make myself significant by making a good impact on the world. I'm here to do good things, and I understand that life is a gift. So I'm going to go out there and make the most of it. And he does that, right? If you look at any celebrity, the guy who's made the most Make-A-Wish appearances is John Cena.
Oh, actually?
I'm 99% sure.
Too bad nobody's seen him. God.
So funny.
That was terrible. I'm sorry.
Hilarious.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I had to make it you can't see me joke. I mean,
Well,
it's John Cena.
everyone makes that joke. Like,
Yeah.
literally on the video that I saw about that, the top comment was, man, that's some crazy advice for a chair.
Yeah.
You saw it.
Yeah, I've seen this video. I know this video. Yeah. But honestly, I have so much more respect for John Cena.
Dude,
after
John Cena
after
is
seeing
him,
that,
man. He's such a legend.
Like, I remember watching that, and I saved that video because I was like, that is so profound, right? And I think it's definitely felt more coming from these people, but I think it's because we have them in a type of image, right? You associate these people with as being like, wiser people, but why not go through your life assuming that everybody is wise? Yeah, like I'm just saying,
Well, yeah,
proposing
everyone
this as a
has
question.
wisdom to give.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of a good point. I think that we take someone's character in one field of their life and project it onto the rest of their life,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
assume that they are crazy or not smart in many other areas. Like, one example is you look at Sam Sulek, right? Huge, beefy guy. And then you see the clip of him free diving off of a diving board
Yeah,
and doing
I
like
would
double front flip. And it's what? What is happening? Right? So you can't really judge someone based on a subsection of their life. They might be, bad at school, but they could be a genius entrepreneur. Maybe they're bad at lifting, but they're really, really good at calisthenics or cardio, or they're an Olympic athlete in some other metric. The point is, you can't discredit someone. At the end of the day, we're all strong in some suits, weak in others. So you got to learn to take advice from the guys who are strong in the suits that you're not.
Yeah, I think, and I hope I've said this before because I find it's a very important part of my life, is draw wisdom from many sources, right? And it's something that quite a brilliant person talks about, which we'll definitely talk about later in the episode. Don't worry, I'll get there. But for me, one thing was religion. I always believed that religion was such a brilliant thing because it really encompasses a lot of ideas. And a lot of religions actually have very similar values. They're slightly altered, and what they believe is kind of different. But at the core, many religions have the same premises, right? And the idea of doing good, basically, by a certain standard.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, why not look and try and take things from different religions? Now, I understand that that's not me saying that I'm following every single religion, right? I'm just understanding all the different things. Like, for example, from Buddhism, you can take the idea of gratitude, right? It's one of the biggest parts of it, to try and diminish greed in your life. That's a big, huge part of Buddhism. Take Christianity. How did Jesus live his life, right? How to forgive, how to change, how to become better, right? And then obviously I want to learn more about Islam and Hinduism and Judaism, all these different religions. I want to learn about them. But the idea is to never discredit something because of something that you have. Just because you're a Christian doesn't mean you can't take Buddhist wisdom, right? Just because you're a Muslim doesn't mean you can't take Christian wisdom, right? So don't discredit things just because you have some preconceived idea. Instead, open your mind, right? We talked about open-mindedness 3 episodes ago.
Yeah.
About 3 episodes ago, I think. And you can do that for people as well. Your stupid friend might have some of the best advice to give you. And I've seen this firsthand where some guy who I think is genuinely I don't even know how this guy is passing school, but he cooks up the greatest quote of all time on the spot. I can't give you a straight example off the top of my head, but I know in my life it's happened. But I mean, I was too foolish as to listen sometimes, but don't let ego get in the way of yourself being allowed to be mentored by others.
Life is Roblox.
DJ Khaled was cooking things that we couldn't even understand.
Dude, I mean, the funny thing about him is he says ridiculous stuff like that. Or like cappuccino. Like, he says dumb stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he drops some of the hardest bars ever, like when he's actually being serious.
I know that people do talk about it, but what good quotes does DJ Khaled have? That I just like.
No. Here's the thing. I'm not like a DJ Khaled fan or anything, so I don't know. But one thing I strictly remember about him, he's playing golf with his friends. And this reporter comes up to him and and asks him some sort of deep question about like whose side he's on in some sort of beef or something like that, some conflict.
Okay.
And he just says something like, "Man, we all go through our own conflicts. I'm just here to play golf. I'm here to appreciate life and be happy." Like, he said something along that line. And to me, that's something that, I could slap as a slogan for the Brighter Horizons podcast.
I'm just trying to play golf.
No, that I'm just trying to be happy.
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
I'm not even good at golf.
You're right. I think people would be so much happier if they just stopped taking everything so seriously.
That's what I'm saying, man.
But I think that's its own topic in and of itself, the why so serious topic.
But you know what? You brought me to an excellent section of this episode. You said draw information from different sources.
Yeah.
Why are you
Okay, no,
freaking
go ahead.
out?
Sorry,
Why are you tweaking out, homie?
Go ahead.
Oh my God. Okay, I haven't even made my point yet.
My bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, draw from different sources. Great example is anime. And the reason why I'm discussing this is shout out to my homies at Odd Society. I know you guys are watching. They're another YouTube channel that make hilarious videos. Been watching them recently too.
Yeah, if you're subscribed to us, go subscribe to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Comment, do everything. They're great. They make great content. I
They're
watched
great.
most of their videos
And they commented on our last episode and said, can you guys talk about something related to anime and correlation? So this episode, we're doing a draft. Best mentors / senseis in anime.
Wait, it was in anime?
Well, no, it could be anything.
Okay,
could be
okay,
anything.
okay,
Like
okay.
just fiction, I guess.
Fictional
mentors.
Okay.
All right. So anyone you can go for.
All right, cool. We're going to
Okay.
go rock, paper,
All
scissors.
right. Rock, paper, scissors for first draft. Ready?
All right, buddy. Come on.
Bang!
All right. It's not fair. You know what I'm going to pick on rock, paper, scissors. I'm a rock guy. Like, I will pick rock every time I play rock, paper, scissors.
He is the rock.
I just want to put that out there. But yeah, all right, your first pick.
Okay. Who do you... Oh, well, I feel like you know exactly what I'm going to say. With draft spot number 1, give me Jiraiya.
Yes!
What? That wasn't who you were going to say?
Absolutely. Okay, first off, justify your pick. Oh, wait. Also, spoiler warnings are going to be dropped.
No. Here's what I'll do. I'll talk about like all their qualities and stuff, and whenever I bring up a plot point, I'll just say
like,
spoiler warning before that, okay? So don't worry. You can watch this section, and if there is a spoiler, I'll just say, like, skip 10 seconds so that you pass the spoiler.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. I really thought he would be your number 1.
I mean, I love him. He's my favorite character in all of Naruto, yeah, but...
Yeah, he's the GOAT, man.
But he's not my number 1.
That's really, really interesting to
me. Dude,
me.
once I say my pick, you're gonna lose your mind. But yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
no. Continue. Just do your point. Do your point.
Oh, chat. I already know what happened.
All right,
I already know what happened.
Go ahead.
Whatever. To be fair, I really approached this from the anime side more than anything, but that's okay. So I'll say that for me, number 1 is going to be him because the impact he had, right? I think that a great mentor is someone who is kind and compassionate to his mentee, but above all else, helps him achieve great things. And in terms of anyone who had an impact on Naruto as a character, it was Jiraiya, man. This guy completely changed his life, changed his father's life, changed so many people's lives. He taught so many people. It wasn't just being a mentor to Naruto. It was being a mentor to Minato, to Nagato, and all 3 of them. Like, he did a lot in the series, man.
Did you say the spoiler warning already?
Is that technically a spoiler?
Yeah, some people wouldn't know that.
No, but technically, like, it's revealed way before that.
Okay, I'm just gonna say when we're.
I'd say it's like a plot point.
Yeah,
I guess
it's a plot.
But my point is that, especially knowing the fact that, Naruto grew up without a dad, him being there as a father figure was critical in his development as a character. And also, now this is a spoiler warning. Skip like 20 seconds ahead. If you seriously didn't skip,
seriously skip right now.
All right, we'll
put up the timestamp. Just skipped it.
Yeah, when he dies, right? Even then, he's thinking about Naruto. He's thinking about his mentee. He's not putting himself there. He saw something in him, and he did his best to bring that out. So he sends a message to him, even in his dying moments. He's a hero, right? And on top of all that, Naruto also would have acted solely out of rage if it wasn't for Jiraiya telling him, you need to break the endless cycle of hatred. Mm-hmm. That's why he changed the world, man.
All right. I could not agree more with the fact that he's absolutely wonderful, like Sensei, absolutely unbelievable. But the number 1 pick for my draft, ladies and gentlemen, the fact that he's undrafted is absolutely unbelievable. Give me Uncle Iroh.
I hate you.
The greatest, most wise person of all time in all of fiction. I will never stand against that. I believe that for the rest of eternity. But the reason that I chose Uncle Iroh is pretty self-explanatory. Anybody that's watched Avatar, you know why I picked Uncle Iroh. First off, is he never discriminated over wisdom. He gave wisdom to everybody. Think about it. He mentored Zuko of the Fire Nation. He advised Toph of the Earth Nation. He advised Aang of the Air Nation. Probably helped some Water Tribe person somewhere down the line. He probably helped Master Paku with some stuff. So if you really think about it, this guy hit all 4 nations and was kind to every single person that he came from. I think that Uncle Iroh absolutely embodies the idea of Brighter Horizons. Like, he is kind to everybody. And also, the bigger thing is he supported Zuko through anything. Even when Zuko was on the wrong side, he understood that if I sit here and I continuously just say, hey, Zuko, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, he's not going to change. Because think about it, the whole time that he was with Zuko, he was part of the White Lotus. So the whole time, he was never a Fire Nation person. Or he was, but he was never with the tyranny. He was never actually condoning Zuko's efforts to capture the Avatar.
That's true.
Instead, he was just waiting He understood that I need to wait for that inflection point, that metamorphosis, and then I will guide him, right? It's like you can't be the kind of mentor that tries to bend steel while it's cold and tough, right? When a person's so set in their ways, what happens if you keep bending it? It's going to snap. But if you wait and you let it heat up, become malleable, then you can start to guide it. Iro embodied that perfectly. He took his time. I feel like I don't think I spoiled anything really.
And honestly, if you haven't watched
it's
Avatar,
it's such an old show. Like, come on, man.
Well,
I
to
know
be
one
fair-
person out there you haven't watched it. He's not going to be watching this podcast, but I just
well,
want to
to
shout
be
him out.
fair, I'd say that the main reason why I'd put a spoiler warning for Naruto and not Avatar is because Naruto is long. Avatar's not that long,
It's
right?
not
You
that
can
long
watch
of a
it.
show. So it's pretty simple to watch. But anyway, he embodies perfectly what I think wisdom is meant to be. Wisdom is meant to be non-discriminatory. It's meant to guide people, and it's meant to be kind. So that's why I got to take Iroh in the number one.
Okay, valid. I may definitely have approached this too much from the anime perspective because I was dedicating this section to my voice.
I respect that. Yeah.
But you know what? It's fine. I'm a roll with it.
Okay.
My number 2 spot, give me All Might.
I completely respect that.
All Might is such a W mentor, in my opinion, because first of all, he had humble beginnings. Like we talked about last episode, the guys who we look up to had humble beginnings. They fought against all odds to become who they are. For him, he started off with nothing and was blessed with a power to become great. And he used that to inspire the next generation. There's a reason why he's called the symbol of hope, right? It's because, symbol of peace.
Yeah.
Because he worked so hard, and not to mention he did it all with a smile on his face. And to me, that is a critical point in life. To do all these things with a smile on your face. Mike Tyson, I'm pretty sure, said that discipline is doing something you hate while while acting like you love it. That's what he said. So to me, doing those things where you run around, save people, and, distill this information in the next generation, that's not always a fun task. A lot of these kids are arrogant, right? Annoying little brats. And yet he goes out there, finds someone just like him, nurtures him, teaches him the ways, and trains him to become something instead of just a crybaby, which he was at the start of the show. So to me, he took something that was trash. Let's be honest, Deku, trash, useless. After All Might talked to him, made him train, he put in the hours, bang, hero. So that's what a mentor is to me. Someone who brings results and someone who does it with a smile on his face.
All right. My number 2 pick, I'm still leaning in fiction. Oh, wait. Yeah, I'm still leaning towards fiction more. I'm going to take Henry Allen, father of Barry Allen the Flash. And the reason is, well, if you've watched, I'm basing this off of the DC show The Flash. I don't know the comics enough. The reason I picked him is because first off, it's crazy. He's in jail for basically all of Barry's life. Spoiler warning. Big spoiler warning here. Massive, make the spoiler warning as big as possible. He gets out of prison, spends his time nicely, and then gets murdered. So, it sucks for him. Just again, spoiler warning.
You already spoiled it. It doesn't matter. Go ahead.
I'm just putting it out there. But the idea is that the whole time he was in prison, he kept telling Barry, let go of your hate for the Reverse Flash. Stop trying to get revenge for me and your mother. Even though he was wrongfully convicted of a crime he didn't even commit. He sat in prison for 15 years. And every day, he knew in his heart that he didn't care about getting out. All that he cared was that his son was okay. Now, I could have gone with Joe West in this scenario because he was an absolutely amazing father for Barry. But the reason I chose Henry was because in his time, he was in prison. In prison, he still told his son to stop caring about me, to let go of that hate. Yeah. That hate isn't worth it. It's not worth your life to direct this all. He said, you picked your whole life path to become a CSI, to investigate so that you could get me out of prison. He said, I don't want to control your life anymore. I don't want to let the Reverse Flash control your life anymore. Instead, I want you to be who you want to be, right? So I think that kind of assurance and guidance that Henry really gave. And then the other fact is that after finally getting out of prison for 15 years, another spoiler warning, I kind of spoiled it already, but he moves, so he's away from his son so that his son can do his job without him. The biggest thing that Henry Allen embodies is the idea of putting your mentee before you. he decided that it was best for his son for him to not be there, so that he's not another potential liability. I mean, that didn't really work out in the end because he died, But in any case, he embodies the idea of selflessness, love, and guidance.
Okay, that's valid. That's valid. You know what? It's really funny.
Yeah.
What my number 3, I'm actually gonna change him because at first I had someone in mind, but then you said something very interesting, and that completely changed my train of thought. Give me, at the number 3 spot, ladies and gentlemen, Master Oogway. Give me Oogway. Give me Oogway, son.
Wow, I didn't get Oogway. That's so tragic.
Give me Master Oogway, son.
Wow.
It's funny because pretty much my entire list was, like, my top 4 were anime characters. The last one was not. But then when you said, oh, is it only supposed to be anime? I was like, oh, no. He really thought of someone genius, didn't he? And I knew at first it was either going to be Avatar or Kung Fu Panda. Give me Master Oogway.
Absolutely.
Master Oogway is an absolute legend. First of all, this guy had wisdom beyond any of our time, right?
And to be fair, he was around for like 1,000 years or something like that.
Yeah, you get the point.
He's
Okay,
an old turtle. But yeah, continue.
1,000% old. But with experience comes wisdom.
Absolutely.
And he found ways to distill that wisdom to his pupil. Now, let's be honest. Master Oogway is not really present for most of the movie. He's here and he kind of just disappears, right? But he taught enough to Master Shifu that he would know what to do in any situation. And even when Shifu was confused, Oogway magically appeared as a heavenly voice. Shifu, you know what to do. What is it? No. Where is it? Something about a peach tree. What is the quote?
You want like the whole thing?
Noodles. Don't noodles.
Try. Don't try. No.
Yeah, something like that. Point is,
Oh, no, it's try, don't try. Noodles, don't noodles. You are too concerned with what was and what will be.
There's a saying, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we get it. Point is, Master Oogway was a genius, and also, like, every time that Shifu encountered a problem, he knew what to do because of Master Oogway. And the things that Master Oogway said way ahead of, Poe's challenges were what taught him to be better. And even in the only problem I have with Oogway is that he didn't help Shifu deal with the whole Tai Lung situation.
He kind of just died.
Yeah.
But I think that was all part of his plan to help Poe become the Dragon Warrior. Like, I think that was all his.
That is kind of crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And, okay, I know that I'm arguing for you right now, but for, like, Master Oogway, one of the things that I, like, really respected about him was that his wisdom, he presented it always with analogies. If you know, like, that's what I really liked. And then also, he passed down directly how he taught to other people. Like, for example, he taught Shifu in different ways than when he taught Poe, right? Like, he taught Poe through a different way than he taught Shifu. But what he said is, like, for example, with the peach tree, he told Shifu, and when you plant a peach tree, regardless of what you want, it's going to grow up to be a peach tree. You may want apples or oranges, but you will get a peach.
Damn.
So he said that you need to be able to adapt your teaching styles to help nurture other people.
Facts.
But yeah, I can't believe I just helped you on your
My
plan.
glorious King Oogway.
Absolutely.
All right, your turn. Number
Honestly,
3.
beautiful pick. I'm about to drop a bombshell of a pick here. You're going to lose your mind. In my number 3 slot, give me Ashalad from Vinland Saga.
That's crazy.
Like, I know
that is
so
insane.
Let me explain
That's
my point.
crazy.
For those of you that haven't watched Vinland Saga, go watch it. It's 24 episodes. Really not that long of a show.
That's crazy.
And you'll understand why this is a crazy pick.
That's
We're going to toss
crazy.
up a timestamp right here. If you haven't watched the show, go watch it. Because genuinely, spoiler or not, I want you to watch the show before coming back.
And we've also mentioned this 50,000 times.
Yeah,
But one of the biggest reasons we started this podcast is because of that show.
So it's a brilliant show. Anybody out there that hasn't watched it, please just go watch the show. It's a very short show, and it's really worth your time. But either way, the reason I picked Ashala, you might be wondering, oh, he killed Thorfinn's dad. And he basically made Thorfinn a slave. What kind of a guy? Why would you pick that guy as a mentor? But it's in his death that Thorfinn becomes who he's meant to be. Right? Like, this guy, if you really think about it, he taught Thorfinn everything that Thorfinn knows. Like, I understand Thor's was a great father, okay? Do not get me wrong. He was a great father.
He did die at the very beginning
but
of the show.
he died right away. And what did his memory serve as? Anger. Right? But who dealt with that anger? Ashalad, right? And even after death in the hellscape, right? What did he say? He's like, you need to let go of all these things that you hate. That's what's holding you down. This whole time, if you really look at it, Ashalad, all he did was mentor Thorfinn. He took him through an arduous path, right? All that, killing and war. But what did that lead to him? It led to him reflecting on his life.
And it made it so that he never wanted to kill another person again.
So this guy really changed his life. He taught him what it means to hate and what it means to forgive. He's the one that saved Thorfinn from his own demons.
Damn.
Right? Like, I know that, yes, technically he kind of put those demons there in the first place.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, Thor's wisdom of a true warrior doesn't need a sword never would have got through to him if he had never gone through this kind of a path. He never would have put down the sword if he never got the chance to pick it up.
Damn. That's fair.
Right?
That's
so, like, I knew it was an out-of-the-way pick because I was debating on my list. I'm like, do I say Thor's or do I say Ashalad?
No, Ashalad was definitely the right choice.
So, genuinely, I think he's such an underrated person because it's not, I don't consider it manipulation, but I consider it to be molding somebody's life without them knowing. And I think that's, if done correctly, is the best way.
Yeah.
Because it's not actually, okay, I don't want to say molding, but it's helping them figure it out. Yeah. That's what everybody that we've said on this list, like prior to this, did this as well. Is the idea of helping them figure it out, not showing them the path. You need to teach them how to walk the path or what is the path.
How to find the path.
Or yeah, exactly, how to find the path. That's why I think a lot of the times in schools this gets misconstrued. Is people are always thinking about what is this, or teachers are trying to explain simple facts. They give you knowledge, but not wisdom. Wisdom is what allows you to apply knowledge.
The best way to explain it is knowledge is what, wisdom is why.
Exactly, precisely. That's brilliant. Like, you really need to acquire wisdom, and I think it first off, it is something that comes through experience. But that's why these people, these mentors, have so much.
Yeah.
Right? Because they've been through it. They've experienced it. They've lived it. So search for those kinds of people because wisdom is the most valuable commodity on the planet.
That's facts. That's very valid. All right, give me my number 4 spot. On this
Wait. I thought we were only doing 3.
Why? Do you not have a 4th person to prepare?
Well, I do, I guess, but I kind of just said both my picks out loud right after.
What?
I guess you don't remember. So
Am I tripping?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You know what? For me, my number 4 spot, rolling with the unconventional pick. Give me Harrison Wells.
Like, which one?
First season.
Okay,
First season.
So we're talking about Eobard Thawne.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of a spoiler. I was going to put up a spoiler warning and say that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you know what? If you haven't watched The Flash, whatever, okay?
Again,
but it's not that crazy.
It was like in the first half of the season.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Point is, Harrison Wells, Eobard Thawne, whatever you want to call him, why would I pick him as a good mentor? He's the reason that majority of this happened, right? He's an evil guy. Everything he does is evil and self-serving. So why would I pick him? Well, while a mentor should be compassionate and kind, that he is not. However, a mentor should also bring results. And the way I see it, nobody brought more out of Barry than Harrison or Eobard Thawne.
Yeah.
He forced Barry to get better, whether Barry knew it or not, or what his motives were. Eobard always pushed him to be better, always taught him how to get faster. And yes, he may have done it to save himself, but along the way, he still saved a lot of lives. And he learned a lot from other people as well, which is something that you said in the very beginning, that a mentor shouldn't be closed-minded. They should be open to change. And so he was very open to that. He learned a lot along the way. He changed his plan. Remember, when he had the Tachyon prototype, he took a piece out of that, and even though it delayed his timetable, he used that to save Ronnie. So in this situation, he sacrificed a lot of his own things to help the people around him. And to me, nobody brought the best out of Barry like he did. It's literally how Raymond Holt describes Wunsch at her funeral, where he says,
Whoa. Another spoiler warning.
Okay, if you haven't watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine, man, come on, bro.
That's pretty big.
That's like a very, very common show, though.
Yeah, I guess.
Man, this whole episode is just full of spoilers. At this point, just can the spoiler warning.
I just put spoiler warning in the title.
Yeah, I should just put a spoiler warning on the thumbnail of the video, bro. Oh my god. Okay, anyways, point is, he described their relationship as a epic chess match, and that nobody challenged him like she did. So to me, I see a nemesis as someone who brings the best out of you. They make you become better no matter what.
So what you're saying is you're extrapolating his methods from his intentions, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying he had good methods, bad intentions. So
Oh, 100%.
okay, I can honestly, I can agree with that pick. I like the unconventional route, but I'm gonna go back because honestly, I was prepped for 3-round draft, but I'm gonna say like I'm going back to what I was saying in the beginning, and I'm gonna take Master Piandao from Avatar. Now the reason for this is first off, being a non-bender born into a bending world, right, is difficult. Being not special, surrounded by special people, is scary. And think about like in that episode, spoiler warning.
Wait, actually, just for reference, for those of you that don't know who Master Piandao is, like if you watched the show but you don't remember him, he's the guy who taught Sokka how to use the sword.
Yeah, he was the sword master. So in that episode, Sokka's feeling super down because I can't make stuff fly around, right? He can't do what everybody else in the Aang gang can do. He's just a regular guy. And no matter what their efforts were to cheer him up, Piandao realized that it's not about, being happy with what you can do, but exploring what more can you do, right? As the person that you are, what can you do? Instead of sitting here wishing you could do more, what can you do? And then again, it goes back to the idea of non-discriminatory wisdom, because he said, the way of the sword belongs to all 4 nations, not just one. He knew from the beginning Sokka was Water Tribe, but he still chose to teach him. Why? Because to him, it didn't matter. He just wanted to guide another person. And if you really look, Piandao really taught more than just swordsmanship. He taught life lessons. And that's a great mentor, is somebody who will guide you on the materialistic path while extending your knowledge or your wisdom as well, right? Because there's 2 paths to life, right? What your career or your job, those kinds of things, but then your identity, your self-worth, those kinds of more abstract concepts. There's 2 paths to life. A great mentor is one who can combine the 2 and teach you in the same way.
Well, yeah, that's why Piandao took him through all those ridiculous exercises
Exactly.
where he was like, yo, sit by this waterfall. Draw what you see, except do it blindfolded.
Exactly. Like it was, well, that's not what happened, but
yeah, you get the point.
Yeah.
Point
the
is,
biggest thing that I really liked was when he said, I want you to write your name on this paper. What did Sokka do? Do you remember?
Nope.
Okay. Sokka painted on his face.
And then smashed his face.
Oh, sorry, Mike. But slammed his face on the paper and rolled it around, and then there was an imprint of his face on the paper. Now, the first thing that also Piandao said is, you need to stamp your identity on this paper. And that's what Sokka did. And that's what a great mentor does, is he brings out the best in his students. He brought out the best in Sokka because Sokka's a creative guy.
Yeah.
So
valid.
he brought out that creativity. It was brilliant to me.
That's solid. That's very valid, man. Piandao is low-key an underrated pick.
Absolutely.
I don't know why I didn't think about him. All right, well, I don't feel like it's right to end it at a 4 round, so I will give it a 5th round, but you don't really have to explain it too much. For my 5th round, give me Urahara Kisuke. Okay?
Respect that.
This is it's an interesting pick because he's not as much of a mentor. He kind of just comes and goes. He's like an outdoor cat. He just appears randomly.
That's very ironic, but yeah.
Very ironic, but he has a very interesting, allure to him. He always appears when something ridiculous is happening or homie is about to die. Like whenever Ichigo's like going through some crazy struggle, Urahara's like, what's up? And he helps him through the problems, right? But also, one thing I really respect about him is that he let him suffer. He let Ichigo go through some excruciating processes to get better, right? And like, for example, those, many weeks and months Ichigo spent trapped in his basement training facility, just busting like his butt to get better. Those days, Kisuke did not help him at all. He was like, you know what? You just train and get better. So a good mentor allows you to face trials and tribulations, and without that, you don't grow. So that's my 5th pick.
All right, for my 5th pick, give me Uncle Ben from Spider-Man.
That's a very interesting... Yeah, okay, that's valid. That's very
phenomenal.
valid.
And I think the main point for Uncle Ben is the fact that he lives on in death, right? Even after he dies, he leaves Peter with the wisdom and knowledge to be a better person, right?
Yeah.
So I think that a great mentor is somebody who, even after they're gone, still has an impact. And that is not only the mark of a great mentor, but of a great person, right? It's not so much how you spend your time on Earth, but how you'll be remembered once you're gone.
Yeah.
So, Uncle Ben, in his dying, words gave Peter the best advice of his life, right? With great power comes great responsibility. So I think he says that when he's dying.
Yeah, he
I
does.
think it is. So the idea is that he doesn't let death kill him, basically. But yeah, we're going to conclude that segment here. That was long. That was a long
surprisingly
draft,
long, yeah. But that was fun though.
Yeah,
Loki, I want to do more drafts.
We might have to do some more drafts, But if you don't know any of the people that we mentioned, watch the shows that we talk about. And because, seriously, these shows are almost like mentors to us. Like Vinland Saga, especially. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say this. I feel like a broken record. Is a phenomenal show and genuinely attacked me at my core for what kind of a person I am.
Yeah.
So please go and watch the show. It is really worth your time.
Now, before we end the episode, there's one more question I want to ask you. Why is it important for us to go out there and mentor others?
I think, again, as I said at the beginning of the episode, I guess everything comes full circle. Mentoring is not just about helping somebody, but gaining something for yourself as well. But again, I think that being able to pull other people up gives us a sense of happiness. And also the fact is, people always say it gets lonely at the top, or at the top it's lonely. But would it be so lonely if you brought other people up to that level with you? Like take Uguay, for example. He although in his death, Shifu wasn't completely there yet, he regarded Shifu as nearly an equal. Right? He taught him everything he could, and then Shifu came up to his level. And I think that the best thing a person can feel in their life is knowing that they had a lasting impact. And I mean, maybe that's a personal thing for me, but I think that everybody out there loves or feels happy and can smile back when they do great. When they put good out into the world, they can feel good about themselves. I think that that's a common misconception about karma, is it's not so much about the fact that you give out and then some universal thing is going to come back, is that you actively begin to see the good things that happen.
That's true. That's true. For me, it's just about doing good. For me, it's about putting something out into the world that helps somebody else. At the end of the day, if I can change even one person's life, I'm happy, man. That's all I want to do. No matter what I do, yeah, I have my own personal goals for sure, but I want to go out there and help the world. I want to change things. I want to make whatever suffering people go through mitigated. That might be my personal guiding principle. It's I want to mitigate human suffering. That's the best way I'd put it. And also, why do so many successful people write books? Is it to make money? Yeah, 100% people write books to make money. But a lot of these people that are already entrepreneurs or professionals at something don't need the money from the book to be happy with their life. A lot of these people have already made it. Look at, best example, David Goggins. Did he have to write Can't Hurt Me? Hell no. He exposed a lot about himself in that book. A lot of suffering, a lot of embarrassing details about himself. But he put it out there because there are people out there who are probably suffering just like he did. People who need hope. People who need a story to say, hey, I went through this. You can too. That kind of motivation is why it's so important to teach others. To show them that there's a better path, that you're not alone, and that you can get out of this.
Thank you guys so much for sticking around to the very end of episode 44, I believe. Yeah, 44 episodes. But before you go, you guys already know the drill. It's time for Quote
Of
the
Week.
Hiram.
Quote of the week. Teaching is more than imparting knowledge. It is inspiring change. Learning is more than absorbing facts. It is acquiring understanding. William Arthur Ward, an American motivational writer.
Wow.
Brilliant. Dude, that is a brilliant quote to me, and I like it because obviously the first part about mentorship, imparting knowledge, is not the only thing, but the most important thing is the second part, where he says that learning is not absorbing facts, it is acquiring understanding, because that is one of the fatal flaws about school, because 99% of us just go there to regurgitate facts, not critically think and genuinely understand. So when you get mentored out there, make sure you truly absorb the lessons that are being taught and become better.
Thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end of episode 44. Make sure that you go out there and you search for mentors who will guide you not only in the realm of concrete success, but abstract success, emotional success, happiness, and one that will guide you through all of these pains, but allow you to grow as well. And make sure that when you get older and you become more experienced, you can become a mentor just like them. And with that, make sure you live a positive life, y'all. Peace out.